Loves to Knit podcast. I'm Ruth and I love to knit. It is Wednesday the 1st of November 2023 and I'm coming to you as always from Devon in the southwest of England, where I live with my husband Nigel and our two kids, Samuel who is 13 and Eva who is 15. As I say, you're very, very welcome here today. If you're a new viewer, lots of welcomes. If you're an OG, you know what's in store for you. I have loads and loads to share with you today because I haven't really done a proper podcast in I think over a month. There was a few wee bits and pieces sprinkled in, but it wasn't a proper, normal podcast. So lots to catch up on, lots to talk about. There may have been a few things that have come into my life and a special guest at the very end. So if you have the time, come and join me, grab a drink. The joy of YouTube is you can watch a wee bit, stop, come back, it'll start you wherever you left off. If you don't want to be here all the time, I can totally understand that, but if you have the time, just grab your craft, sit down, have a wee relax and spend a bit of time with me. I'm still a bit gravelly. It is a wee bit later in the day than I normally podcast. It's just after 11:15. I normally do it first thing in the morning, get the kids out on the bus and start, but I woke up with a bad head today and so the day just had to start a bit slower than usual. But here I am. I'm ready to share and I hope you'll enjoy our wee time together. And on that note, I'm going to get a wee sip of water. Excuse my humongous cup. Cheapy looky like from Temu, I think. Anyway, where can you find me? I am Ruth Loves to Knit podcast on Instagram. Sorry, I am on a swingy chair. My tangents already. My rocking chair is now in the living room because recently this is my craft room you're in, or stroke spare room. And I have been doing a lot of patterns that need that have charts and things, and I found that I was sitting like this on my rocking chair and I was getting a very sore back, very sore shoulders. So I have stolen my daughter's desk chair because she's never a typical teenager. She either lies on the floor to do her homework and revise or sits on her bed. This chair was just used for clothes. Throwing clothes over, so I have commandeered, and I need to remember not to do this because that'll drive you mad and it maybe creaks a bit too. So anyway, tangent. You can find me on Instagram, I've already said, then email ruthlovestoknit@gmail.com or on Ravelry as Ruthlovestoknit, but I am not a big Ravelry user. But I check in every few days just to make sure that nobody's sent me a message that I've missed. So that's where you can find me. And I think I'm pretty good at answering questions and answering emails and messages and things. So do send me a wee message if you have anything you want to say at all. What am I wearing? This I did as a test knit. I hope the light's okay today. Actually, that's the true colour of it, so it must be okay. And this was the Storm Seeker tee, short sleeve, by Kelly Menzies, who also has a podcast which is called Rowan Kids, and she's joined with someone else for another podcast too, and I can't remember the name of it. Sorry, Kelly. I think I've only watched one episode. But yes, she's Rowan Kids, or on Ravelry she's Kelly Menzies, and it's probably my most worn top through the summer. I've been rushing around this morning, was a bit hot. I thought, I can't even bear to put any woolies on, and then I just snapped this out of the wardrobe, and it's just a wee tee, normal. The design finishes there, and I thoroughly enjoyed test knitting that. Oh gosh, when was that? Before the summer sometime, I think. And I love the neckline on it too. It's in woolly knit, it's getting from the back of my brain. Woolly knit, 100% British wool, which maybe isn't the best thing for a summer tee. And in the colourway Lupin. I used it it was leftovers. I had used Lupin in a shawl, I think. So I just thought I would use the leftovers for this, and I just love the colour and I think it goes okay. I'm always a bit paranoid with my grey hair, what colours I can use. And let's face it, I'll just wear whatever I want, but I think this is nice. So yes, that's the Stormseeker by Kelly Menzies. Okay. Also wanted to say thank you so much. I did a very little podette a few weeks ago about the Mal, just a wee catch up with all the prizes and everything. And I did it for my kitchen because we had just got a new puppy and my husband was away in Ireland, and they were settled and I didn't want to come upstairs away from them. And so many of you commented about my yellow kitchen and oh yes, I might have known you had a yellow kitchen. Well, this house belongs to the mission that we work for, and the people who lived in it before painted the yellow kitchen, not me, but I am very love it. I'm very thankful for it. It could probably do with being painted again. But yes, that wasn't my choice of colour, but a lot of you did associate it with me, which was funny. So yes, and thank you about all the lovely comments about wee Clemmy. Maybe as I'm talking, I'll put a bit of video up here. Yes, my husband came back from Ireland, and yes, she was sort of trained before we got her. No, sort of, she's only 16 weeks, but she's pretty good all over. She is pretty good, but you know, we were just at the stage in life where we were getting the lie-in maybe on a Saturday, and the kids didn't need us so much, and you know, they could fend for themselves a wee bit, and then we get a puppy. So yes, she's my husband's puppy. If she does anything wrong, she's mine if she wants a cuddle. So she's a wee Chorky, a wee rescue dog, and she and our OG dog Honey are getting on like a house on fire most of the time. But like toddlers, like siblings, they do fight a bit. But I think Honey is definitely enjoying her company after being on her own with us for 5 years. So early days, she is a lovable wee thing, but I do like to get up the stairs and away from them both at times. Tell you, a puppy is hard work. If you're thinking of getting one, make sure you have the lifestyle for it. But she is a wee dote too, and we're thankful for her. What else did I forget? When I mentioned the Mal prizes, I completely forgot, I think because it wasn't tangibly in my hands, that lovely Ez from So Yarnalicious, if you've watched my podcast at all, you know I love Ez's bags. Actually, don't have any in front of me today, but probably one of my favourite makers, and she has given us a £25 gift voucher. £25 gift voucher for one of her bags. So that is amazing. Thank you so much. And I have added you to the list. I'm really sorry that I missed you off last time. So that's 5 gifts of yarn and bags, blah, blah, blah. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go back to the last, the one before the last, maybe little extra bit, and the title says it all, and you see the amazing prizes. And as I said in that, there's one more to come as well. So there'll be 6-7 prizes. How good's that? And it's worldwide, and you have 2 months. I'll put the wee logo up here of the Dust 'em Off Mal for any pattern book in the books and the Ravelry and the magazines that you have had before July of this year can enter. You've still 2 full months. Gosh, you could get a lot done in 2 months. They're coming in, the FOs are coming in thick and fast. The finished object is Dust 'em Off Mal FO on Instagram. And please, if you have, I went through them all the other night and hearted everybody, and there was quite a few who'd put them in the Dust 'em Off Mal as finished objects, but not in the Dust 'em Off Mal FO. Now, if you could go back into your post, check that you've done that, and all you have to do is just click edit and then put hashtag Dust 'em Off Mal FO, and that'll, by the powers of the internet, will pop it into the finished objects, because there's more prizes for you've more chance of winning if you put it in the finished objects part. But loads of people are emailing me with their finished objects. Literally every single day something's coming in, so you're just equally as included. Just sent me a picture of your finished object, and some people sent me lovely messages too, and I've written those all down, and they're just as included. So I would say there's about 150 entrants at the moment. And sure, keep going, and as many times as you want. Some people have put 5, 6, 7 entrances in, and it can be a pair of socks right up to whatever. And one lady just posted last night, I think, a cross stitch, and that is totally allowable too, because it's a pattern. And she said she'd had it in her stash for years, and my wee Mal sort of gave her a kick to get it done. So we're coming to the end, but still 2 months. You've plenty time. And I look forward to early January picking out all those winners and getting those. That'd be lovely in January to get a wee surprise in the post, wouldn't it? And, well, not be a surprise, you'll know you've won, but a wee treat in the post after Christmas when it's all a bit dark and dreary and a bit, well, in this part of the world, maybe not where you live, and to receive a wee parcel, a wee woolly parcel from me. So that's an awful lot. 10 minutes, we haven't talked about any. One more thing. Many of you know I went to Ireland last week with the kids to see my mum and dad. I'm originally from Northern Ireland, and I didn't take you with us purely as it's historic. I'm rubbish at filming. We didn't do anything worth filming. We just had a lovely time together. We ate nice food. My parents concentrate a lot on food. And we had just a nice time chatting about things. I went to a couple of meetings with my dad. I went to a prayer meeting where people pray for us regularly. I went to hear my dad preach with the kids, which was special too, and spent time with my mum. My daughter went out for coffee with mum, that sort of thing. So it wasn't anything to video. Actually stayed in the house all day one day and knit. Perfect holiday in my opinion, and you'll see what came from that knitting in a wee minute or two. So yes, we're back. All of us are in the one house. The kids are back at school, and we are battening down the hatches. Now, looking out the window today, it was horrendous last night. I had to sit in the car for 2.5 hours waiting on my son while he was in cadets, and the car was buffeting and the rain was coming down, and it was quite cosy. And today the sun is shining, but we are to get from 3 o'clock today apparently Storm Kieran. And there's weather warnings everywhere, so we're battening down the hatches. I thought I'd get this done and try and get it up on the internet, because when there's storms we always lose power. And yeah, so let's hope from Friday normality resumes. Then we've got so much to talk. I warned you, there's a lot to talk about. You can fast forward if you want to fast forward, but you might miss some goodies. So I said in the last episode that I was going to do a gift away. Thanks Nancy Wheeler for that word, so the bots don't grab me. We're going to do a gift away, 2 gift-aways today, and I have got some lovely things. And talking of Nancy, quite a while ago Nancy offered me a couple of sock patterns of hers. Her socks are beautiful. She's a lovely designer, she's a lovely person. She also has a podcast called Knit Sip Happy. And if you like a long podcast, that's another one you can sit and grab your drink and grab your craft and watch. She's in Canada, and she has just got the gift of designing socks. She's offered me some sock patterns, but today I'm going to give 1 sock pattern away, plus, now this is open worldwide, plus this beautiful skein that has been in my stash and maybe I need my lovely friend Hannah of Hannah's Happy Space to reskein it for me, but I promise it has never been used. And I just thought that's so autumnal. It's from Olan, which I think, maybe I've heard wrong, but I think is shut now, so that could be a special skein. Only the name is maybe not so great. It's called Heartbreak. And this was spun in Cavan, which is in the south of Ireland, where my husband comes from. And based in Cavan, our inspiration is taken from our surroundings. Ethically sourced yarn, hand dyed in Ireland. So that's a wee bit of me. And then I just thought, this wee bag, never had a pair been twins so well. Look at that. Autumnal. Now, if you live in Australia or Southern Hemisphere, do apologise. You just have to hold on to this till later in the year. But I just thought that was the perfect combo. You can make socks out of this. Hang on, can you? Yes, you can. Sorry, panic there. Merino nylon. And this is from Lysander and Olive, who I think also aren't making anymore. And I think, if I remember right, they've just moved to Ireland. Oh, just to keep coming. So this and a sock pattern from lovely Nancy will be your prizes. Could I get this for a thumbnail? Wouldn't that be nice? If I sit here for long enough, would it go? So what do you have to do for that is, I want to know what's on your needles. Now, this is a dangerous question for me, because I am like a magpie with patterns. If I lived to 1,000, I would never knit all the patterns that I have. But I love to know. Now, if you've got 29 projects on the go, just tell me what what the main ones you're working on, but I'd love to know what you're knitting and what's on your needles. And if you put a wee comment on the video below and below this video, and just tell me what you're, if you don't want to win it, maybe just say, I just want to share with you, but I don't need any more yarn. And don't mention the away word. You can say gift away to your heart's content, but don't say the other. And that's you entered, and then I will just put you into a random generator thing, and we'll have a winner in my next podcast. But you need to be a subscriber, please. I can see you. I can see you. If you've got to this, I don't know what I'm on, 48, episode 48, and you haven't subscribed to me, come on. It won't do you any harm, doesn't cost any money, but it does get my wee podcast out there for people to see. I rarely mention this. Now you have to attest. I rarely mention this, but I hope maybe today would be the day you click that wee subscription, and then if you don't want to have to wonder when I'm coming on, the wee bell, you can click that, and I'll pop, my big face will pop up when I do another video. So there you are. We'll stop talking about that now. Then, you know, I've had a hashtag, I'm sorry, 16 minutes in and I haven't talked about knitting. 16 minutes, okay. I've had a hashtag on Instagram all this year called You Feel Free in 23, because at the beginning of the year so many people were talking about, oh, they were setting up spreadsheets and they were doing this and they were doing that and they were setting themselves these massive goals, and I just thought that would suck the life. I'm impressed, don't get me wrong, but that would suck the joy out of my knitting if I did all of that and had it all written down and everything. And so I set up an alternative hashtag of You Feel Free in 23, that you could just do whatever your heart's desires. And every so often I've picked a name to give away a wee pattern, and I think a pattern is the only way, because there's loads of prizes, there'll be loads of postage going out, and so I've picked a prize and I'm going to butcher your name, so I'm going to put it up here. So maybe tell me how you do pronounce it. I presume you're Scandinavian, I'm going to say, and it's Faya Fibers. I've put it up here, and you knit a Tolst tee, beautiful, and you have won a pattern. And if you can get in touch with me on Instagram or Ravelry, and let me know your Ravelry name, I will forward and pick a pattern up to the value of about, what let's say, £10, I suppose, because that'll get you something worth talking about, and I will forward on that pattern. So it's worth putting it in. I think about 5 people have won patterns through this year, and that'll be finishing on obviously at the end of 23. So I'm going to try it again. Is it Faya Fibers? Oh, wouldn't it be funny if I got that right? And she's a prolific knitter, I think, from looking at her Instagram, and well done, you've won that. And so please get in touch with me before the next podcast. That would be brilliant. Right, let me get a drink and we'll get actually some knitting done. Sorry, my dad keeps reminding me that when I turn my head, you can't hear me. Sorry, Dad. Okay, I have a lot of FOs. I'm telling you, this is going to be a long bumper episode. I have a lot of FOs because, as I say, I haven't really podcast properly for probably a month anyway. Although I didn't get an awful lot of knitting done when I was sick, and then when I had the puppy, although she hasn't touched, well, one small mindfulness shawl came to a sad, traumatic end. I stupidly hung it over the back of one of our kitchen chairs and she pulled it down. I mean, it was just asking to be pulled down, and yes, I couldn't even retrieve the yarn. So I've learnt my lesson, and it wasn't one of my favourites. Doesn't matter. And it was probably my own fault because it looked like a wee toy that she could play with. But apart from that, she doesn't bother with the yarn. I've had a cone on the floor and she doesn't bother with it. So anyway, so I'm going to show this one. I did show this one in my Mal video because it was coming out that week, but I just want to highlight it again because it's one of the really, really enjoyable knit from my lovely friend, and I've tagged I've pinned the yarn label to it. Aren't I so organized? No, I can't get it off. Oh, that's it. So it is I'll not be putting it on because I'm feeling my flush coming on. This is the Coastland shawl. This is the second one I've done, and this is the Coastland shawl. Oh, sorry, it's blown out. It is that's the colour there. I've got the overhead light on. Oh, look, it's coming up. Oh, gorgeous. By Annijuuti Knits. And I have it all over my Instagram page because I loved it so much. And I suppose you can do it that way too. I suppose that is the way you're meant to do it. It's the shell pattern right up the side. The lovely detail of the slip stitch. I just think it's beautiful. Simple but beautiful. It's an 8-row repeat, which by the time I'd knit 2, I could nearly do without looking at the pattern. And this is the large size. She's 2 sizes in it. But you know, I believe that I live in Norway or somewhere and I need these big shawls, and that we're sitting in the 1st of November and I'm sitting in short sleeves. I don't know what I'm thinking, but anyway, it should get colder at some point. And oh, I've pictures on my Instagram and I showed it in the other one, and the yarn I used is John Arbon Knit by Numbers 4-ply. I got this whenever they were had just a way down because they've changed their blend, and it's number 128. Now I don't know if they've just literally transferred their numbers over. Probably you would think so, but it's a beautiful, beautiful light wine / rose red, and it's 100% pure Falklands merino wool, and it is soft as anything. And it's made in UK, obviously organically farmed, but I know they have changed their blend just recently, and I don't know if any of you've bought the new blend, what it's like, but this is just, oh, beautiful, absolutely beautiful. So again, just want to commend Anina's she's got many patterns out now, sock patterns, sweater patterns, she's really doing well, and she's just had an operation, and get well soon, Anina. And yes, if you want a travel project, maybe choose the smaller one. If you want, especially the dark nights coming in, you maybe sitting in front of the TV, or you just want to cozy up in front of the fire, I would commend this to you. And I think it's just simple but effective. So that's the Coastland shawl. Now, I've been very bad in the last 2 episodes of not doing show notes, but I promise I will do. I've written everything down this time, and I will do show notes so that you've got all the details and you can look it up on Ravelry. And Anina always says on she's got a podcast too, Annijuuti Knits. I will do an extra wee thing for all the podcasts that I mention. And she always says, if Ravelry's a problem for you, just get in touch with her and she'll sort something out. So you'll be able to get this probably emailed to you as well. And as I say, get well soon, Anina. I just thought that's well, I don't know if she blocked her shawl like this, but I did. I made a wee sort of fanned out at the bottom. Anyway, I'm just chuck that in. There's a bed behind you, so I'm just going to chuck that in the bed. Then I have cut into some of the whips that I showed you in whatever episode. I promise I have knit some of them, but I've also cast on some things. But this is one of the things that I had on the go and I finished. So that's one struck off, but it's one off, one out and one in, isn't it? Yeah. And this is the Age of Brass and Steam kerchief, but you can also knit a bigger one. And it's by Orange Flower yarn. And I'll just show you the pattern. And that's the pattern. So you can either make it into like a little kerchief, or you can make it into the shawl. And I used this yarn here. Shush. Is it a shush? No, it's just shush. Double knitting from James C. Brett in the colourway SH12. And quite different for me, quite pastel-y, so I'm not sure if I'm keeping it or passing it on. And I have knit a lot on that yarn recently. I was really taken in by it. It's bizarre yarn. It's not everybody's taste, because that one follower, Jane, didn't like it after my recommendation, actually sent it to me. I don't really enjoy knitting with mohair, and there's a wee hair on that, but I can cope with it no problem. And it's a weird yarn because I have swatched in DK and I have swatched in fingering, and I've got it both. I've got it both times, and it's actually the halo. You can see the halo there. The halo that makes it the DK, and it's got a really good meterage. I think it's 250 or 280, and it's only $3.99, and I got some of those in a closing down sale in our local town, well, in Launceston, and I got them for $2.50 I think each. So this shawl was $2.50, And this is the shawl, The Age of Brass and Steam. Now I have blocked these very quickly because we put our cooker on again, so things are blocking nicely. The kitchens, we haven't got any heating on apart from in the kitchen, and probably this tip could have been blocked out a bit better. So and the only thing I modified the pattern was I did a slip stitch in the middle. You see that? Just to bring it out a wee bit. Now this is like wearing a cloud. It's absolutely, and I just think it's so effective that can you see the pinks? I think that's it. It's so effective. And I have another one here, another pattern here that's so, but I do think maybe I need to block it again because I did it very hastily yesterday so I could show you it. I didn't stretch it loads because I wanted to keep the texture. So the texture there, I didn't want that flattening out. So yes, it's beautiful, but not necessarily my colours, but it might become my colours. Or as I say, it might become somebody else's colours. But so that's one whip that's definitely ticked off. So I'm going to put those down. Then I always have knitting in the kitchen. I always have, sorry, rustling, sorry. I always have knitting in the car, or well, in my handbag. Although I never thought about that, maybe I should just put it in the glove pocket of the car. And this was my, because I'd lost my sock mojo somewhat, I needed something else that was really simple to knit on. Didn't have to think about it, could take it to knit club. Could knit, you know, in the doctor's surgery or whatever. And this is just so simple. Another one of these. I knit one before, then I've knit two before. And I think, as I say every time, I think this would be a great thing for a beginner knitter, instead of just a scarf or whatever. I knit my friend Cara one last month, and this is mine. And I only use 50 grams. And I have worn this in the house so much. I always say back of my neck is what annoys me. And I'm not sure you can see these colours. See that? And this is Fearless yarn from Woolly Adventures. Sorry, just went for me. Woolly Adventures. And it's Super Sock 75-25, 4-ply, 425 metres. And it's Fearless. And they did this they still have this in their shop on Etsy. And they did this for a charity back in the summer. They were trying to raise money for kids to go to a big weekend, what do you want to say, camp. And I purposely only use 50 grams because I want to make, now that I've seen it knit up, I want to make a pair of socks. And I'll add a 50 gram mini to it. So that's Woolly Adventures. They're also from Northern Ireland, and they were away at a show down in Southern Ireland at the weekend, and hopefully they had a great time there. So that's, well, many's that. We've done 3. So, but I mean, like, can you even call this a whip? Is that even allowed at this stage of my knitting career? But look, isn't it gorgeous? Look at the colours. It's beautiful. But yeah, another one if you're just sitting in the car or you need a bit of knitting and you've lost your sock mojo. There you go. And it's a fantastic way to just showcase the yarn, isn't it, as well? Just beautiful skein of yarn. Maybe you've no idea what to do with it. Oh, I just love it. And I just cast on, it's just out of my head. I just cast on, I think, I cast on enough stitches that I could use this in the round needle and didn't have to stretch it. I think it's, oh gosh, was it 150? Or was it 145? Basically just 3.5 millimeter needle, and just as long as it's not tight to, I think it was a, you know, like a, maybe a 40 centimeter cable, and knit. You don't need any rib, you don't need anything, just rip, knit. And it was good for my soul when I needed it. Then a whip that I'd actually finished when I did the Mal video, but it wasn't the time or place to show it, was I did a toasted tee. Now, I don't need to show you a picture of what a toasted tee looks like. Be under a rock, I think, if you haven't seen it or knit it. I was late to the party, definitely. It's by Rebecca Clow, who is the Crea Bear. I think it's probably just the most usable, easy knit that you could get, and this is the one I did. And again, it is from the lovely Shush Shoe yarn, and I'm so impressed with the striping on it. And I'll just show you. It's been folded up, obviously, so there's and I just short sleeve, but I mean you can do long sleeve if you want. It's not a problem. I used I don't have it here. I used about 1.5 balls, maybe not even, and I thought, oh, how am I going to get this to continue down as is? But I just went forward a wee bit on the yarn and found the next, you know, colour and added on. But when I got to the sleeves, I thought, oh, it's not going to work for the sleeves because I'll use that bit then. But just happened to work okay. I didn't even do anything much, and it nearly looks like it's meant to be that way. I didn't really pull any extra yarn out. I don't know. And I am chuffed to bits for that. You'll see me coming, obviously. And maybe horizontal stripes aren't what I should be wearing, but I don't care. And I look forward, I haven't worn it yet, but I look forward to wearing that. I don't know, the colour's funny, I don't know. But so that's another one of those balls. I think I may have come to nearly the end of my addiction. I have another sweaters quantity, 2 balls, and it's $3.99. And again, this it's warm but light as a feather, absolutely light as a feather, and I just love it. I have one in kind of black monotone colours, so maybe we'll do that at some point again. It's the Shush yarn by GMC Brett. Oh, I didn't tell you what's in it. There is a bit of wool in it. This colour is 05. I think this is one of the ones Jane sent me, I can't remember. And it is 550 metres or 601 yards. And it's 80% acrylic and 20% wool. So there is a wee bit of wool in it. You know, it's not squeaky or anything. But that's the Tolst tee. But I was going to wear it today, but I was scared then it would blow everything else out. So, but I'm sure you'll see me wearing it. Maybe at the weekend. Maybe at the weekend, something special's happening at the weekend. So, we'll see about that. Then, because I was going to Ireland, I needed something to knit, and I hummed and I had, should I take a whip, should I not? Some people said take a whip, and I just thought to pot, it's just so much easier to knit on socks, and actually it wasn't too bad. I'd lost my sock mojo, but I actually quite enjoyed knitting these just mindless vanilla socks, but I cheated a wee bit because all year I've been doing the Lucky Dip Cowl. I haven't entered the Lucky Dip Cowl, I've just been using the idea that Kate from Hawthorne Cottage Crafts started. I just had 2 months left, and I just cheated and pulled them out to take with me to Ireland. So these are the socks that I ended up finishing. Everything's looking darker than it is. And these were leftovers from Norah George yarn. I don't think she's dying anymore. Lots of special dyes, the special yarns that aren't dying anymore. Norah George yarns, and it's Back to Hogwarts. Yeah, Back to Hogwarts. I had used this, it's superwash merino nylon. I had used this yarn, that's it there, as part of something, as part of a shawl or something, I can't remember. But I had enough left to do this wee pair of socks. It's all coming up. It seems to me dark. It's just, oh, gorgeous. I really loved Norah George yarns. Anyway, and just added a wee random mini that I had. But that thing there dyed everything on me. Well, my hands, everything. But yet when I blocked them, nothing came out on the yarn. So I don't know. I was knitting them on the plane. The only reason that it doesn't have the coordinating heel is because I got to the heel both times in a place where I couldn't really cut the yarn. So I just went on and knit them. Beautiful, those speckles. So those are for Cara, my friend Cara. She didn't get socks last month. She got mittens and one of those Snood things. Cara, you're getting socks this time. And there's maybe another pair somewhere too. So those are finished. They're just 35 stitch leg and then a 12 row cuff. So let's put those there. Sorry, jingle, 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 jingle. And then last but not least, what can I say about this? I've been knitting for years, decades. Do I still make mistakes? Oh yes, I do. I decided to join in the Twinset and Purl. We're doing a T&P Cowl, which sounds ridiculous in my accent. Cowl. And it ended yesterday, and I wanted to jump in because I love Jo and Rachel, and all of their patterns are just amazing. And this one is by Joanna Herriot, and it is the Ginger Ale Cowl. I actually had it in they did a very, very generous discount, but I actually had that in my stash, or in my library. And it's eyelets, as you can see, and she has a tassel, but I'm not a tassel person. See, it's been used well, it's been folded up. And it was any cowl in their collection. They give like 50% discount. They have free ones. They give so much money to charity. It's unbelievable. You know, Rachel is going through cancer treatment, and they give an inordinate amount of their profits to cancer, the blood cancer charity. And so I wanted to join in. Now, if you look at the pattern, it is written for lace, or heavy lace, or light fingering. So I went into my stash and lifted out, and also it's a lovely, you know, subtle, subtle cowl, yes. So I decided what I would do is knit this. This is not subtle and not lace, but I love it. See the eyelets? My stomach's rumbling, I do apologise. See the eyelets and the lovely slip stitch, and on the back you knit it flat to start with and then join it, and lovely slip stitch again. This yarn is just fantastic. It has blocked beautifully. This yarn was gifted to me by Linda for the Fun of Knit. She has a podcast too. Lovely girl. Linda, when was that? Year and a half ago, maybe more. She sent me that gorgeous pack of minis and one other skein which can't come to my head just now. But these are the Over the Moon yarn. I think it's Canadian. The colourway is Refraction. It's Electron sock, fingering 100 grams, 85.15, and there's 400 meters. So 400 meters is not light fingering. This is what I've got left. Love it. Oh, love it. Which that'll be popped into something, no doubt. And so this is what came out. Looks fantastic. Looks fantastic. Now I knit one of their I'm not a big cowl person, you know, just the straight up tubes, despite what I've just shown you on those on that wee Snood thing. But the ones with the pattern, I think, what's the point when you're going to have it all scrunched down? So I knit this one. Oh gosh, what's this one called? Oh, can't remember what this one's called. Can't remember what it's called. Go and look it up. And it's one skein of fingering, and it's absolutely gorgeous. Look at the detail, look, I've worn it quite a bit. So you can scrunch, you know, you can put it like this, or you can have it over your shoulders, and it's only one skein. That's going to annoy me now. It's bandana cowl, but there's a name before the bandana, but I mean, it's gorgeous, right? So that's theirs. Now, what do you see? Basically, the same idea. But I'm a twit is the only outcome of said knitting experience. I'll get this in. No, that's not right. Right, I'm sure this is exciting for you to watch. Look at the difference. Because this is not lace weight. This is not a fine fingering, light fingering, and I didn't change the needle size. I knit it on a 3mm needle. It is absolutely fantastic. It is absolutely wearable. It is absolutely me, although it may be getting passed on to someone else who has shown an interest in it. A fantastic pattern. Again, you should do it in your sleep. It's great. you can do it plain, or you can do it striped like this. Hope I haven't massacred your pattern, Joe, but use your brain when you're knitting. I was knitting away thinking this is great, and then thought I should have changed my needle size to at least a 2.5, 3.25 or a 3.5 for a normal fingering weight. So that's the story of that one, and I'm sure there'll be another one. Now, if you've watched my Instagram recently, I have put up that I wanted to claim the hashtag T&P year. And next year, I am going to have a year of Twinset and Purl. I'm not going to wear Twinset and Purls. I do have a set of pearls somewhere, I'm sure. But I was given them for a when I was a bridesmaid at a wedding a long time ago, but I'm not sure they've made the cut. But no. Joe, as I say, Joe and Rachel have so many gorgeous patterns, and I have so many of them. And I have knit a lot of the sock patterns because I used to do the samples for the sock club for Botanical Yarn last year and the end of 2022. The end of 22, beginning of this year, and then I stopped. And so I haven't got those tangibly in my hands. So I am going to knit at least one of their patterns a month next year, and you'll be welcome to join me. It's not a big heavy cowl, it's just a bit of a knit along, a bit of fun. If you have any of their patterns, join in with me. I have started the Cecil shawl and stopped because it was in the middle of the summer and I was trying to knit with mohair. That'll be getting back on the needles again. I want to knit some of their socks. They're bringing out, I think, another sock pattern this at the end of this week. I want to be able to help them maybe get a wee bit more money for the charities they support. If you watch their podcast, Twinset and Purl podcast, they give a bonus discount to all of their viewers. So go over and watch their podcast to see what that is. But there will be a few prizes, just casual prizes. It'll be a year-long thing, and I think what I'll do is, so that I'm not stuck at the end sending out hundreds of pounds worth of postage, I maybe do random, like I did with the You Feel Free in 23 hashtag, just pick out here and there. And again, you'll be able to send me email evidence of your finished object too. But I've never met them. I count them as friends. We're not in daily contact or anything, but I just wanted to again, using patterns that I already have, but no doubt they'll bring out amazing patterns in between as well. But that's what, I mean, I don't hope you're not disappointed. It's not the most amazing. It is the most amazing cowl, because I should have put cowl in that should have put cowl in that hashtag, but never mind. T&P, Twinset and Purl year. Simple, sweet. And if you put that hashtag at the end from January 1st, 2024, we'll talk about it later, obviously. You can join in with me just for the fun of knitting together, and maybe getting things off your needles, maybe enjoying the patterns, maybe getting a new jumper or socks or whatever. And yeah, the patterns are fantastic, and maybe supporting some of their charities in the meantime. So that's that. That's all my finished objects. Haven't looked at my notes one, so let me just check then. Annijuuti, Lucky Dip, Cara socks, Snood, Ginger Ale Cowl, Age of Brass and Steel. How many was that? 6. Ta-da! So there you go, and it's 43 minutes in. I hope you've got a strong coffee this morning, I really do. But anyway, I'm looking out, and the field beside my craft room has all the sheep back in it, so it's a lovely view this morning with the sun shining. Anyway, let's get on to whips. Oh, I did want to say one more thing. The things that I've been knitting in that Shush DK yarn, I really struggled. I am a wooden needle girl, 100%. My hands get sore with metal needles. I don't enjoy them. Excuse me. But I found the wooden needles were too the wool wasn't sliding on them, because it's like mohairy. I can't even describe it. Where did I put it? Here. Oh. You see the halo? And I just found wooden needles. I was pushing it off the needles, so I swapped, but I don't have many metal needles. I maybe have some single ones. I have some DPNs, that's it. And was it last Christmas, Beryl? My husband works with Beryl's son, and I went up to meet Beryl because she watches my podcast. Was it last Christmas that your husband gave you these needles? I can't remember. But anyway, it was, or your birthday or something. But anyway, I was in Beryl's house, and I saw these needles and I was very interested. Now, I don't know the ethics behind the company. I don't know anything about it, but I didn't want to spend a lot of money on metal needles for just the odd time using, you know, like a grippier wool. So these were the needles. Now you can get them, I think, in 100. I think you can get them in all the lengths, but these ones are the 100. Now, obviously, they're from China, from Amazon. They're called Coopay, Coopay. Again, I don't know the ethics of the companies. I don't know anything about them. But I got these ones for £11. Now, I looked and they're up to 13. You get like a fixer with it, a needle. I also got a, what do you call it? A thing with, you know, that you can measure your needles in. What do you call that? You know what I mean? Because they only have numbers like that on it. Okay, but the numbers that coordinate with the millimeters that coordinate with the 7, 6, whatever, are on your Amazon details. But they also send you the gauge, the needle gauge, so you can check. And there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 pairs. They're metal. Now I have one out, and there's no memory at all. These are very, very light. Now I've had them probably about 9 months, and I've used them not loads, but so I don't know the super longevity of them, but it's the needle. They're light as a feather. There's no weight to them at all. This is like wire, you know, like sorry, I just hit the stand. Like the Chaigus, and they come in a little sleeved thing, which is rubbish. It is rubbish. You know, at 11 or 12 pounds, 13 pounds, you get what you pay for in the you know, the case. Lots of people on Amazon have complained, oh, the case broke. You get how many pairs for £11? So I don't even bother closing the case. I think one of mine, I have them in 100 and I have them in 60, and my case in 60 broke the minute I got it. But you get what you pay for. But if you're in the market for a cheap pair of circular needles, just to test them out or to see how they go, or to see if you want to do that, maybe you're a straight needle person, maybe you're you know, they're fixed, obviously they're fixed circulars. Maybe these could be something that I've just written on them. We can't even see it. I've just written the millimeters and the sizes on there. No, you can't see. And I've used them quite a bit and I really like them. So just thought I would tell you about those. I'm not necessarily recommending them, but I do often get questions about, you know, needles are so dear and all that. Well, I don't know how I've never asked you again, Beryl, how you've got on with them, but because of you, you enabled me to buy these two. And like I think I got them at Black Friday, another set on Black Friday or something. They were a tenner, but the most I paid was £12 for these, maybe up to 13 now. But for that many needles, you're not losing a great amount. If you don't like them, you can pass them on to someone else. But that's just a wee tip for knitting with that sort of more mohairy, if you're a wooden needle user. But I will use wooden needles for everything else, and I could knit for a good period of time with these because they were so light. But that's just the by and by. Then whips. Okay, so for my dust 'em off Mal, my entrance, it's not going well. Remember I did the big shawls? I have got one entrance in. Oh my goodness, a bottom-up sweater in fingering weight for my size is a labour of love. It really is. And I want it. I'm a process knitter. I've always said that. If I don't enjoy knitting it, it doesn't get finished. And I've no problem ripping things out. But I want this. I like last night for 2.5 hours nearly, apart from the time I phoned you, Mum, I was knitting and it's not growing. I haven't even got it here because you're just looking at the same thing. I probably knit 5 inches and I just feel like I've knit constantly on it. It is from the Shetland Wool Week, volume 7 from 2021, and it is this beautiful. I mean, I love it and I want it and I will finish it, but it's not going to be for the Mal. And it is the Gotland lace yoke, I mean, it's just gorgeous. And I still haven't decided what I'm doing for the yoke. I need to talk to my friend Sarah. She's brilliant with colours, to get her to help me. I don't want to buy any more yarn, and I've got lots of wee single skeins or wee single balls of the Shetland wool. So I'm doing the body in a beautiful like royal blue from Woolly Knit Corvette colour, I think. And I had it in the car last night, and I thought I brought it up. I think I must have still left it in the car, because when we came in it was bucketing and just ran in the house. So it must be still in the car, but there's nothing much to show you anyway. Ribbing and a bit of stocking stitch, but that's where it's from. I mean, there's beautiful things in this. I mean, it's getting battered, as you can see, but I'll just keep it as, I might even take it out and about with me, although it's I'm using a cone. But if Amy Palgo can do it, if Amy Palgo can take her cone everywhere, I can take my cone everywhere. And yeah, we'll get that done. So no point showing you that again at the minute. Then the next thing I've been actively knitting on is in my lovely knitter bag. That's the company's name. This is me in the future, or maybe me now, I don't know. I just love this bag. It's made of linen, so it's really softening up as I'm using it. And it is the Riptide 135. This pattern was kindly gifted to me by a lovely viewer. Thank you very much. I'm loving knitting on this. This is, so a few, well, I'm not going to say. Riptide 135, and there's the design. So the significance of the 135 is the wool, the yarn they use. I can't remember what they used. Let me see. What did she use? She used Crave yarn, Caravan DK, which is 210 meters, and so you can either do it in one, you can do it in 3 skeins, or you can do it in 5 skeins. And I've chosen to do it in 3 skeins because I happen to have that much yarn, and I've got on pretty well with it, and I'm loving it. I'm using yarn that I got in I think another closing down sale, or in a bargain bucket, certainly. It's getting a bit battered being in. And it's a Rowan Baby Merino Silk DK 50-gram balls in this lovely denim. It's lighter than that. It's a bit lighter than that. Sort of a denim colour. It is in 684, 66% wool, 34% silk. And I mean, it's just to die for. That's the colour there. I just thought it'd be so serviceable, and this is what I've done so far. Oh, it's caught. So I mean, it's going to block massively, even though it's only the middle. You can see the twists on it, and I've done quite a bit. I've done. I don't know. You knit until there's 5% of your wool left, and I'm well through. Let me see. I'm on the third. No, I'm not. I'm on the second ball. I'm only on the second ball, so there's still a good bit to go. I'll just show you the pattern. Again, this is very intuitive. Once you just look at the first sort of couple of stitches of each row, then you just read your knitting, and you just go through. And that's going to either, a lovely wee bit of stocking stitch there. So it's going to like an accordion. It's so stretchy. So I'm going to have to see what way to block this, because I don't want to lose, I don't want to flatten out that lovely, what would you call that, spirally effect there, but I don't want it all bunched in either. So it's going to be like a big squishy hug by the time I finish it. So thank you very much for that pattern. I'm thoroughly enjoying it. She test knitted it for the designer. Oh, I didn't say who the designer was. That would help, wouldn't it? It's JST Knitwear Designs. JST Knitwear Designs, and she's got lots of lovely patterns too. And there's it there, so that's clearer there, isn't it? She's loads of patterns. She's actually, I think she's actually Irish, or has moved to, I think she's Irish and has moved to America. And again, I just love this bag. She's on Etsy, and I'll put the details down below. She's from Lithuania, so it didn't click with me this would be Lithuanian linen, wouldn't it? Anyway, then that's the ones I'm actively working on. But I have then I have one last thing. This is the other sock that I took to Ireland with me. Again, Cara, this is your last pair. Make the most of it. and this is all I've got done. So I got quite a wee bit of knitting done. I was only there, we went on the Tuesday and came home first thing Saturday morning, so I didn't do too bad for sitting around chatting, and Eva did her crochet. And so, and this yarn is from Addict Spin Dye. Addict Spin Dye I left out. So it came with this, and then it came with a wee, that's the two, those two came together, 50-gram sock set. And as I say, although I'd lost my sock mojo, I quite enjoyed those, so maybe it's coming back. But maybe won't do just as many pairs next year. And it's called, I don't know the reference, this is Mr. Grimm. You might know the reference to this, I don't. And it came with a wee stitch marker, progress keeper, and that's Addict Spin Dye. Mr. Grimm superwash merino nylon, and you can't go wrong with Addict Spin Dye. I've never regretted a purchase that I've got from them. Mr. Grimm. If you know that, if you know what the reference is, presume it's off a film or something, you can let me know. And this is this is turned into my travel project bag. I seem to have taken it in all my trips recently in the summer and everything, and that was made for me for my 50th, which was nearly 2 years ago, by Anina, who designed the Coastland shawl. And it's just great because it's the right size, and doesn't get dirty, and despite what it says, I don't have a shawl in it. Those were gifted to me by, no, I think I bought those ones by Tim and Jeanette from Crafty Clegs Creations. So that's trade description tagged. And then so that's what I'm actually knitting on. Oh gosh, this is nearly an hour. But when I was at home, I took my mum home one of my shawls that I don't wear. I love it, I don't wear. It's Regia silk. Beautiful, absolutely love it. But we had this discussion. I gave it to her because she loves mauves and purples and things. And I heard her talking to my dad about this lovely shawl I'd given her in grey. And this is basically the colours I did it in. And it wasn't grey, it was like mauve and purple. And we thought, is that one of those things, you know what I meant, was a couple of years ago, they had a dress and they had a pair of flip-flops, and some people saw grey, some people saw a different colour. But when we saw it in daylight, she was fine. But she decided that she would like me to knit her one in different colours. And I love, this was in a pom-pom magazine, and I absolutely loved knitting. It's a bit like knitting stripes. You want to get onto the next stripe, next stripe, next stripe. And it's called the Ephemeris shawl, Ephemeris, just by Spruce Designs. I hope you can see, I don't need any other photographs that I can show you. Hope you can see that. If not, we'll put... There's it there. It's such a fun, it's slip stitches, so it's such a fun design. And she's asked me to do it in red and navy. Now, the only reds I had, I'm always on the hunt for a decent red. I want a decent red, and I finally found it, and I just happened to get a couple of skeins in a sale online somewhere, and it's the Kinross, the famous Kinross 4-ply. That's as red as it is. She wants it in red and navy, and it's I think it'll be beautiful because once you block it, it blocks up like cashmere. But I only have black. But I'm going somewhere on Saturday, and one of the retailers sells this, and I asked her to bring me some, so I've got it all sorted. But the funny thing is, the shade is Mary, and my mum's name is Mary. Everybody calls her Mabel, but she was christened Mary, so I just love all these connections. I'm not a very sentimental person, and my mum will attest to, but I love when there's wee connections, you know. And so Mary, and then I'll get a navy on Saturday, and I think that'll be beautiful. And I think there might be one in my future too, because I loved it, but it just wasn't my colours. Although wearing this now, I think it would have gone with this, but it's not, you know, I want something nice for the winter. So yeah, so that's the Ephemeris, so that'll be going on but it's only 200 grams. These are 50 grams. It's only 200 gram things, so it won't be long to get it finished. And because I've knit it before, I kind of remember the pattern a wee bit. And so that will be knit sort of for Christmas, sort of for whatever. They are coming to me. My husband's going to his dad for Christmas because his mum died on Boxing Day last year, and he wants to go over obviously and spend time with his dad. So my parents are coming to us. We're staying in England. He's going to Ireland. Never a dull moment in this house, so maybe this will be wrapped and put under the Christmas tree, who knows. Then last but not least, I promise it's last but not least, is the cardigan for my daughter. Again, a connection because it's the Eva cardigan by Petite Knit, and I hope you can see. She chose it, she saw it and chose it, and just coincidence that it's Eva cardigan and my daughter's name's Eva, and she chose the wool, which is New Fashion double knitting by Woolcraft in the colourway 39. And that's a true colour. That's exactly what a colour is. And I got this in the Woolly Beater in Oakhampton. She sells every colour in it. And Eva didn't want me to knit anything that she was going to have to worry about, or I think the whole cardigan will cost less than a tenner that she could just throw on. Didn't have to worry about expensive yarn. And so I need to get that cast on as well. So there's plenty to be doing. Still whips in the box that I haven't touched. Yeah, it's my knitting I cast on if I want to. That's all the whips. And it's 60 minutes, it's an hour, and there's still a bit to come. Should I show you? I'll just show you quickly some of the, I know this isn't for everybody, but I wanted to just talk a bit about the wool market I went to and some of the bits. So this is a bit of incoming stuff. Very, very last minute, I decided at the beginning of October to go to the Liskeard wool market. In Liskeard, funny enough, in Cornwall, it was about 40-minute drive down this narrow Devon roads, which I went about 15 minutes out of my way on the way home to not go down the narrow Devon roads. So, but it was hotter than the sun. If you remember, in the UK, we got like a heat wave in October for about a week, and I just seem to go to yarn festivals when it's hot. It was John Arbon Day, it was roasting, and that day was roasting, and it was in the town hall. I think it's a town hall, or is it community hall? I can't remember. Very, very easy to get to, very easy to park right across the street. And it was, again, I talked about it the Friday night, just got up on Saturday morning, I'm going. Just went by myself, and I'm glad I did. Now, it was packed whenever, and they did make a sort of an Instagram announcement that it is always very busy for the first hour, and I have to say, I didn't get there till, it opened at 11, I think, and I didn't get there till about 20 past 12, and it was hiving. And I wasn't going to do any video, and then the last minute I did. So if you want to see that, it's just a wee 2-minute video. I just put it up on Instagram. It was on, I put it up while Rhinebeck was on, and it wasn't quite Rhinebeck, but I still enjoyed it. A lot of commercial sellers selling stuff, like wool shops had set up, which was fun because you could touch things, you know, maybe that you were, you know, like a lot of the Knit Pro stuff, you would see what it was actually like. But I wasn't really interested in, I didn't go with an agenda. I took a very specific amount of money and I didn't go over it. Yeah, the Demelda's Delights was there. I won't go through all of them but mostly from the Cornwall area. And I had a great time. I stayed far longer than I thought I was going to stay. I actually came outside at one point because I don't know about accessibility. There was a lift. It was a tiny one of those wee glass lifts. I pity the poor vendors carrying all their stuff up because it was like stairs, then a landing, stairs, then a landing. And I did see the Yarny Octopus, who is a seller who's actually in a wheelchair, was on the ground floor, but I'm not sure if a big electric wheelchair would have fitted in. I don't know, but everybody was so friendly, chatty. It was only £1 to get in, and they had a cafe that I went into 3 times before I actually got enough room to get served. It just kept going in and coming out. But the reason that I wanted to eat in there was because they were raising money for their local food bank. And I met a lovely viewer called Margaret. She made herself known to me. It was lovely. And another lovely lady who I sat and had lunch with, because I was very, very bold and there weren't any seats, so I just said, would you mind if I sat here? I said, I'll keep quiet, I won't speak. And then of course we ended up chatting the whole time about everything, and that was lovely too. And she let me see the things that she purchased and all the rest of it, so that was lovely. And I just had a great day. But there was a swap table, and I took a bin liner, a black bin liner of stuff to swap, because it was a massive table. It was like the one you would see in a mayor's chamber, so it was absolutely massive. And there was gannets round it when I couldn't even get in to put my stuff on the table, but it did calm down a wee bit later. But there were vendors in that room, and I felt a bit sorry for them, because if I'm going to get something for free, I'm not going to buy off them. But I don't know how they did, but anyway, I took a load of stuff, commercial stuff, stuff that has been in my stash for ages, books, magazines, printed patterns. I got rid of the lot. It was very cathartic. I got rid of some big 400-gram balls of Aran that I had maybe used one and didn't need the other, all the rest of it. But I picked up some stuff too, because I thought I gave enough. I should be able to pick some stuff up. Now, there were 6 of these and I just took one, and I saw one lady taking the rest of them. But it caught my eye, and it's hedgehog fibres. It was a good swap table. Hedgehog fibres in sock yarn, and it's one of the potlucks, and they were all potlucks, so maybe when they came to whoever bought them, they didn't like them. But there was another one very similar, but I didn't take it. Super soft, 90% merino, 10% nylon, and 400. So freebie. Then I just saw these and thought, brilliant. So there was a sweater, more than a sweater's quantity really, of this Guernsey. Supplied to Guernsey knitters since 1847, 5-ply. And it's very hard, I think, very hard to get. It's not normal to get 5-ply in this country. And pattern designers keep knitting with worsted and keep knitting with sport. It's really hard to get in the UK. And UK designers are knitting with it. So it's 100% wool in its navy. Can't go wrong with that, just basic. So I got, let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4 full balls, and then there were 2 balls wound up, and I just re-skeined them, wet them, or did them on my niddy noddy. I love that thing. It has been brilliant. And wet them, bathed them, and re-skeined them. And this is what I've got now. So definitely a sweater's quantity or enough for a body. And that was great. And I was very pleased to come away with that before I even bought anything. And then sorry, they're down here. Just show you 2 things. It was very good. I bought this bag. I have wanted like a patchwork bag for ages. I've been on to Hannah of Hannah's Happy Space. Incidentally, she's just done a shop update on her Ko-fi, so go to her bio on Instagram. How am I going to write these notes? I've talked about so many people. And you can go in. I think most of her just normal, material bags of sold, but she's got loads for Christmas. Really, really cute. And I've been on to her to do one of these, and she's I didn't want to put her on the spot. When I saw this, look. And this is really sturdy. I was a bit worried about that. And inside is a lovely, sorry, it's got really dark. It's about to rain. Lovely lining. And it's just 2 wee ladies sitting behind their wee stand, and I just, me and bags, I just zoomed into it straight away. All padded. Absolutely love it. Haven't used it yet because I wanted to keep it good. But, I couldn't, and it was, let me see what price it was. £10. But she was giving it away. I bought another wee tiny one off her for £4, but it's already, I've gifted it to somebody. And I bought, one of those things that you attach to the page to the corner of your book, and I bought that for Eva, and it was like £1 or something. But this is sorry about the dogs, the postman's probably arriving. This is by Zoe Knit and Sew. And she is on, it's not Etsy, what's the other one? Google it. Oh, there. There's your show notes. She was lovely. She couldn't have been nicer. And she's on, I have a wee bit of video. Oh, she does have an Etsy shop. She's an Etsy shop and a folksy shop. She's on Instagram and Facebook. And she's got Zoe Fowler, so is her name. And Zoe Knit and Sew, a variety of hand knitted and sewn gifts, bags and baby items. And she definitely had a lot of stuff. So go and give her a wee bit of love if you want to. Just a homegrown small business. And I am absolutely in love with this, and I get to use it now. And then, of course, lovely. The thing about shows down here is that you quite often see the same people, and which are lovely. But I hadn't been to a show in a while, and I was talking to the lady who owns Gorgeous Yarns, and I had said how much I had a wee. No, I didn't have anything on, talking rubbish, and she said hi and haven't seen you in a while, and I zoomed in on these, and these aren't my usual colours either, but oh, they feel it delightful. So Gorgeous Yarns, You see the, and she showed me these. These were the last of her summer stock. And it is Merino, 87 Merino, 13 Pima cotton, and 100 meters for the two of them. And she gave me quite a considerable discount. And I think there's either a Ballyclare or something like that, a Ballyclare shawl or something like that. But I want this around my neck. Oh, it's gorgeous. And the drape is just, it's going to be beautiful as well. And thank you so much. She gave me quite a discount on these because I see her all the time. So that was my purchases. I think that's very reasonable. I think it's very reasonable. The only other thing I want to show you is this. And I've talked a lot about Twinset and Purl. I won this from their podcast. I think you had to put a comment or something, and it says, getting through the day one stitch at a time. Isn't that the truth? It's a wee tie-dyed bag. I don't know who it's by, sorry. And this, oh, it's like a wee pencil case. My daughter's been eyeing this, from Emma Ball. Oops. Then some Emma Ball washi tape, which is a knit fabric. Oh, you can see that there. Maybe some of the parcels will be getting this on. And then, that's right, then a wee tin, another wee Emma Ball tin with, how am I going to show you these? Bee Progress Keepers. Oh, nowhere near. And then wee flower ones. I was chuffed to bits, but on the same day that arrived, I had ordered, I had got a very, very, very cheap skein of yarn from the Yarn Snobs Facebook page. From, you all know I love the woolly goodness. I mean, look, but it arrived the same day. How cool. I mean, it's meant to be, isn't it? Again, meant to be. I don't believe in fate. I believe in God incidences, as you all know. Don't think he was bothered about my yarn and bag matching, but I just thought that was funny that arrived the same day. So thank you very much to Rachel and Joe for my prize. That was lovely. I can use all these things now. And then last but very, very, very not least is these two beauties here from the Snelden, which is one of my favoritist yarns. I used to get it from Midwinter Yarns, and they've moved up to Shetland and aren't selling it anymore. And I had a bit of a panic because I'd have to get it all the way from Sweden. And so whenever they were moving, they sent me all their, I bought all, it's very, very reasonable, very, very good yardage for your money. She sent me even her offcuts that she hadn't used, all her scraps. But lovely Anne from the No Excuses podcast had done a podcast of Fradiche sashes, and I saw this and immediately messaged her and said, can I have it? And including postage, it was less than £10 for the two. And it's Snelden lace, it doesn't say, lace, 100% wool, 720 meters per 100 grams. So, I mean, they'll be so, maybe I should have used those for the cowl. Thank you, Anne. Those came so quick and such a bargain. You were giving it away. So that's all my incoming, and that's 73 minutes. I am so sorry. Saturday I was talking about, I'm going to Stitch Fest Southwest. It's a yarn festival in Newton Abbot, which is about an hour away from us, and I'm taking Hannah and her sister Cara. I cannot promise you video because I am not great in crowds and I get so embarrassed and I forget to take my camera out and all the rest of it. If I can get anything I will, but we're just going to enjoy the day. We're going to just get the yarn fumes. My lovely father-in-law sent some money over for me with my husband, so I have a wee bit of cash to spend. I don't know if he thought I was going to spend it on groceries, but I have decided to siphon off a wee bit for the yarn show. I take cash because when the cash is finished, I'm finished, and I've stuck by it strictly in all the yarn shows I've gone to. So hopefully I'll see some bits and pieces. Obviously I don't need any yarn. I have to buy Mum's navy yarn. That's first protocol. But we'll see what happens. So that's, I told you, well, it's been a long time since I've podcast. Don't forget to gift away. Leave a comment. Don't forget for the You Feel Free in 23 hashtag to message me. Don't forget to get those finished objects for the Mal. Now, this is Andy bits. I'm a Christian, and I always share something if I can that the Lord's had in my heart, or that I just want to share with you, or whatever. This time I have a special guest, and when I was over in Ireland, I had a little interview with this special guest, and I'm going to share that with you now. So I'm going to say goodbye for now. Hope you enjoy it as much as I did. It's very special to me. I'm going to finish now, and I'm going to put that on at the end, and I hope you'll stay to the end and listen to my special guest, and maybe just glean something from his experience and his life as a Christian for very many years. And so until I see you again, thanks for sticking with me. Get in touch if you need anything. Get in touch if you have any queries. Bear with me on the show notes, because it'll take me a wee minute or two. And yeah, until I see you again, happy knitting and God bless. Bye. So normally after my podcast, I do a wee short message of just what the Lord's put in my heart. But I'm staying in Northern Ireland with my parents this week for a few days, and I thought I would introduce you to somebody who has been a Christian a lot longer than me. And who are you?
I'm Ruth's daddy, or dad.
And what's your name?
My name is Thomas, Tom, or Tommy.
There you go. But to me, he's Daddy.
My surname is Shaw.
Yes, my maiden name was Shaw. So I had written down a few notes here because both of us, obviously, I have the gift of the gab, and my father can talk too. So thought we'd keep it to a few notes, but it might be longer than the usual wee bit I do at the end. So he's introduced himself, but you're not in your 20s, sure you're not?
No, indeed I'm not. And my next birthday I'll be 84.
There you go.
Yeah.
And I thought I would ask him a wee bit about his life, and I'll probably be learning a few things here too. You can probably hear the clock chiming, but we'll ignore that. So how long have you been a Christian?
I've been a Christian since I was in my teens, and now I'm in my 84th year, so that's a long, long time.
Well, you can count that up at home. I'll not count it up here. So one of the questions I wanted to ask you was there a specific thing or circumstance that made you realise you needed to become a Christian?
Yeah, I was born in Scotland, but I was raised in Northern Ireland, and I was raised in a part of Northern Ireland where I heard a lot of preaching about the Lord Jesus Christ and how we needed to become Christians, how we needed to give our lives to the Lord. And at one stage in my teenage years, I felt that God was speaking to me very clearly and bringing me to understand that I was a sinner and I needed a saviour. And when I was in my teens, I trusted Christ as my saviour.
And when you became a Christian, was that it? Did you just become a Christian and then carry on life?
No, when I became a Christian, I started to get involved in a lot of Christian activities and prayer times and things like that. And eventually I felt God was calling me to full-time Christian service.
And again, was there any kind of specific thing, or was it just a growth that you just felt that was the next step?
Just as I lived my Christian life and sought to live right for God, I eventually just felt an urge to be doing something more. And I felt that God was asking me to do that in a full-time capacity.
And if you've watched my podcast before, you'll know I talk a lot about my wee granny, and my wee granny is my dad's mum. And you were the breadwinner in that family whenever you decided to go off to Bible college. What did Nanny say to you at that time?
Yeah, well, my father was killed because we were living in Scotland at the time, and the Second World War broke out. And because he was living in Scotland, he was conscripted. There was no conscription in Northern Ireland, but there was conscription in Scotland. And he joined the Argyll and Southern Highlanders, and he went to war, but sadly was killed. And then my mother brought us back to Ireland, and we were reared in my grandparents' home, and my mother never married again. And there in my grandparents' home, I heard many things about God and about the things of God, but I can't remember the question you asked me.
Well, Nanny said if she had 12 sons.
Yes. Yeah. When I was leaving home, I had a brother, Desmond. He's younger than myself, but in many ways I was probably the mainstay of our home at that time. But when I told my mother, I felt that I should go to college and study and prepare myself for Christian work. I thought it would maybe be hard on her, but she didn't. No, she didn't say no. She said, well, if I had 12 sons, I'd give them all to serve the Lord. And that was the kind of mother I had. And she was a lovely wee woman and a great mother to us.
And a great granny too.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you went to Bible college, and then you went to the Bible college that's linked to the mission that myself and my husband worked for many years before we were around.
Yeah.
And when you came out of Bible college, you worked for the mission for a few years, but then you felt God calling you in a different direction. Tell us a wee bit about that.
Yes, I worked with the mission, I think, for about 6 years. And then I felt that God was leading me other ways, and eventually I found myself in the Christian ministry, full-time minister of churches, and I spent most of my life doing that, working as a pastor, minister, whatever you like to call it.
And in some quite large churches?
Yes, I had the privilege of serving some great churches, some very large churches, congregational-wise, and they were great days, and I look back upon them with great satisfaction that God blessed me and God used me in a way I never ever dreamt he would.
I think maybe as his daughter, I wasn't so grateful for some of those days, but now looking back, I am so thankful that my dad was so involved in the church, and that my mum and dad brought us up in a Christian family. I didn't, as I say, it was hard sometimes to be a minister's daughter, but I am so thankful for that upbringing now, that I heard about Jesus from a very young age, and I was able to accept him as my own personal saviour later on in life. So that's a bit about my dad. But I want to ask him a few questions that could maybe benefit us and give us a wee bit of advice, because he's got a lot of advice. You can see we're in his study. You can't see the other books. When I was growing up, he had a study about twice the size of this. He's downsized desperately, but this is where his happy. Would you say this is your happy place?
Yes.
Studying, even at almost 84, he's still writing sermons and he's still preaching. And yes, it's a cozy wee corner. I was saying I'd like to podcast up here because it's quite good lighting. So anyway, the question is, if you could live your life again, would you do anything differently?
No, I don't think I would. I think I had a wonderful life, and I just did what God asked me to do, and I sought to please God and live for God. And I don't think I would change my life at all. It's been really, really good, and I can look back with great satisfaction on all that God enabled me to do.
And was it always easy?
No, it wasn't always easy. Somebody said to me one time, did I ever think of resigning from the Christian ministry? And I said yes, every Sunday night, because sometimes when you preached on a Sunday and maybe you felt a bit discouraged and you felt, well, why should I do this? But it was always great to get back to it again.
Another wee question is, what advice would you give your younger self?
Well, if I was speaking to my younger self again, or speaking to young people, I would encourage them to make sure that they find God's will for their life, not just their own. We live in what's called the me generation, where everything surrounded us, and we're the ones that matter most. But, sometimes we have to remember that God matters most, and we need to serve him and please him. And then, sorry, you want to say something else? Yeah, pleasing God, there's great satisfaction in doing that. And you lose nothing. I mean, some people think if you give yourself entirely to the Lord, it's going to be a miserable life. I haven't had a miserable life. I've had a wonderful life, and I've enjoyed every moment of it. And I thank God for it. That's done now. Yeah.
And then the last wee question is, and I think he's going to really struggle with this, but what's interesting to see is, what's your favourite Bible verse and why?
My favourite Bible verse is Philippians 1:10. Where it says that I may know him, 3:10 I think it is, that I may know him and the power of his resurrection and the fellowship of his sufferings. When I became a student in Edinburgh, the place where I stayed had a picture at the top of the stairs, and this was the text that was on it. And when I arrived and saw it, I thought, I'm going to make that the motto of my life, that I may know him and the power of his resurrection. And that's the verse that has meant most to me. If I'm ever asked to sign an autograph, which I'm not asked very often, I would always sign that text of scripture after my name.
And I can tell you from being his daughter and from living in his home, maybe a long time since I've lived here now. I left home quite young, but I know he's always been praying for me. He's my biggest supporter and my biggest critic sometimes too. He doesn't knit and he still watches my podcast, but I often still go to him for spiritual advisor. If I'm stuck, sometimes when people ask me a question on the podcast and I'm stuck, I'll go to my daddy and ask him. And I just feel blessed that he's able to take this time today, that he's still with us as well and so healthy and well. Mum's gone out with the kids, and I just thank him for doing this wee spot for me, and I hope you've been blessed too. All right, until the next time, God bless. Bye.
God bless. Bye bye.